Peace, peace, peace. What up? What up? What up? What up? What it do? Trying to see. It's this way. Just trying to see what's good. What's up? What's good with you? Touch, touch. Appreciate you. See the lights going up. Checking in on the late night real quick. You heard? Busy, busy week and all that. Keep staring. Now I'm looking at the. I'm just actually taking time out and analyzing the different features to utilize on the live. That's what I'm doing. You know, as long as I've been on this thing, you wrote a whole paragraph. The only way I could do that was if you had to do a little more work, and I would be happy with it. But you have a good time with me, and I will see if you want me to. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah. So real quick, I just came forth. You know what I'm saying? To check the temperature real quick. You know, lately my schedule's been a more involved than usual. So a lot of my time that I would be able to, you know, get this content, you know, delivered as often as I would like is, you know, somewhat in interfered with real life. Even though this is real life too, you know what I'm saying? This is definitely a real life matter. But you know, when we are living the day to day off the camera, there's so much that needs to be tended to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right, okay, LJ. Yeah. I ain't tripping off of that. I ain't tripping off of that. But yeah. So real quick, I just just share a little bit. Definitely been in the gym a lot lately. Um, of course, because it's getting darker later, and I, as always, have been extremely, uh, you know, on the workout. Even though I haven't showed up the way I would like to, I definitely have been, up in the gym a lot lately, as I said, and just feeling amazing, you know, in that sense. And when it comes to fitness, and that's like the, at least for me and so many others, you know what I'm saying, it's like that's the best way to it's one of the best ways to really be tapped into, you know, being alive. You know what I'm saying? Like words can't really express it. At least for me, it can't. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. See them likes. You know what I'm saying? Much gratitude. And I was just thinking to myself today, and words can't express it, that how fitness, working out, at least for me, it really it increases the purpose of existence, and to increase that desire to because it's so many different ways that one can cope with life, right? Whether it's in a healthy manner or unhealthy manner. And when it comes to coping with life in a healthy manner, fitness is at the top of the list. Besides loved ones and things of high importance of in that regard. The people that you love and care for, and who value you the same. That's one aspect of the appreciation, the purpose of life. And yes, that is the first, right? um that is the first, of course. And then we have ourselves to deal with, and how things impact us on an individual level, on a level of what it requires for us to be available at our best in many different aspects of our life. Again, being an asset. And but I'm saying all that to say I was driving today, and that's what was on my mind. And as always, you know what I'm saying? As always, And I say that, and the reason why maybe it was on my mind because again, life is not just all about fitness, you know. Pardon me, y'all. I'm just reading this feature at the bottom there that popped up. You know, it's always something new. But I was thinking this to myself driving today, and with so much going on in the world, so many different levels, you know, from the minor to the major, we all see what's going on. So it's nothing to really mention a whole list of what is so easily to take us off track, right? And again, it's very important about how we cope with life. And coping is the way in which things have an impact on us, whether for the negative or the positive, whether it's more of the other, right, between the two. We definitely have to make a conscious decision each and every day within our minds and our thoughts of how those or how that mindset is going to either be more solution based or giving in, right? And the thing about fitness is, at least for me, beyond the physical, it helps with the mental. I know you probably hear that all the time. But one thing for sure in how that works for me is it is a high level of clarity within how I deal with the day to day and what it requires to be focused while me having to stay the course with having a positive attitude, not being distracted, everything within the moment, right? You could be in traffic, cars are cutting you off, people, you know, whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, with exerting energy from fitness, with the endorphins, with the feeling stronger, you know, being in the space of where you have tapped into a high level of being productive, that is what equips me with again going back to the way in which I can cope with life in a healthy manner. And it's like a silent reassurance of staying in that space of being at one's best self, if you will, you know. So, and that's just, I just was, like I said, I was thinking about this, and I didn't work out today. I took the day off. I did so much this past week. I don't even remember the last day I took off. Besides today, I'm trying to. I didn't work out yesterday. Let me back up on that. I ain't work out yesterday. Um, but I'm saying all that to say this though, right? Is that I kinda wonder how, if I wasn't into fitness, what would it be to help me be able to harness such a great energy in that, in such a way. Now everybody got their own thing because it's not just about fitness. But I'm also saying we definitely need something to help or to assist to have an outlet within, right? To not necessarily escape, but purpose, you know, to be so, for something to have a high level of your focus that you're able to navigate through the nonsense, right, of what attempts to impede, to distract, to hinder, you know what I mean? So again, whether it's fitness or anything else, and then you're able to sort of by way of you making the right decisions to not get cheated off your spot, to it's a form of protecting what it is to be able to get to that, what's more important, right? So and that, I think, not think, but it's a beauty in that. It's a beauty into, whether it's, your gift, your talent. We all, it's very necessary for one to have that, whatever that may be, to be such an outlet or a source to where we can, again, remain tapped into a high vibration of what that may be, that demands your attention, that needs to be fed in a healthy way. It could be a hobby, it could be fitness, it could be education, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's all I'm saying, is the things that help us in a healthy fashion of what we won't allow to disrupt the needed peace in order for us to give the necessary concentration and attention to what it is that gives you fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to say that is very important. And so I'm trying to just give you a little feedback, give you some feedback, some insight on what goes through my mind, you know, at certain times. And because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, you know, with all that's going on, right? Am I, because the thing is like nobody's impervious to what it is we're up against day to day of the unknown, what we have to navigate throughout nowadays, what we're hearing, what we're seeing, right? What we experience, what we're going through right now, tough times, whatever the case may be, tough times, challenges, whatever the case may be, and you know what I'm saying. Listen, you know we all have whatever's going on that requires a certain level of resistance and temptation. You know, so every day is, at least for me, is you know to a certain degree of keeping a balance. And when I say a balance of just picking my battles, as they say. You know what I'm saying? But by doing so, you know what I'm saying? It's like I sort of wonder to myself, like, yo, am I unaffected? In which, and when I say unaffected, I'm talking about, you know what? Let me say this a little better. You know what? Instead of that's not how I wanna that's not how I wanna say this. It's more like due to what has already been hurdles and obstacles right in my life, I'm grateful that my perception is in a much better light now. All right, so let me just say it like that, because it's not about me not being affected right by certain things. It's again having a better approach, and it starts within first how I perceive something, and then how I respond. Um, and it's easier some days than others. I still got a lot to work on, but one thing I could say for sure, going back to the whole fitness way in which it helps me a great deal, and it's not just about the fitness, because when we dealing with real situations, a lot of times fitness is the last thing people want to partake in. You know what I'm saying? In terms of depending on what it is that a person is dealing with, it's not so easy to say I'm gonna go to the gym, go to the park, work out, and then everything's gonna be fine. So I understand that too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah. So that's what my mind was based around today. And so when we have a healthy way of again coping with life, and but protecting your happiness, your mind, and you know what I'm saying. It's a powerful space to be in, you know, and as they say, health is wealth. To be wealthy within a space to where you're able to pinpoint what you need to consume and what you need to discard. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And when you feeling, when again, when you're clear in the mind, right? Even though you could become bombarded with certain things, and but that clarity in the sense of, again, when you're able to know what to consume and what to discard. I'm gonna say that again. And let's say this too, right? I've been seeing a lot of I'm gonna tap on this a little bit too. I just been seeing a lot of as we all do. It's marketing, it's ads, it's you know there's a lot of marketing of different things for people to invest in, that you people would think is going to fill that void within, whatever that void may be. And a lot of times it's looks. It's a lot of time. I just see so many, whether it's weight loss, um, the ED commercials, all these different things to where my outlook is a lot different than so many, that when it comes to filling a void, how easy, and it's not so easy for everyone, obviously. Nobody's perfect, right? So this is not the thing where it's like, why, I'm not, this is not me bashing, but other people, in terms of, what it is. Everybody has a journey to seek out what it is they are finding, or searching, or figure out about what makes them happy, what gives them fulfillment in this life. But I know that my I was just telling a friend of mine, my brother actually, and I was saying to him, I was like, even people who are so-called unattractive, right? Now hear me out. when we taking good care of ourselves, right? So I'm saying, your teeth are right, your health, your character, you got a positive attitude, And I was just telling my brother, I'm like, yo, one could not necessarily be the most attractive person, but you can emphasize your beauty, right? Because again, your character, how well you take care of yourself, if you're in shape, it's many natural approach, different things that we could work on, and I'm just very big on that in terms of what's right within who we are, and first and foremost, our character, self-respect, how we treat people, and things of that nature. And I work on it every day, so I'm not exempt from you know certain thoughts and having an attitude, a negative attitude, to where I need to check myself again within, and then I move on with my day, things of that nature. But what I'm saying is, in terms of when we are, the further we go outside of ourselves looking for something to fill that void, it's unfortunate when that is so, it's unfortunate when that is so much of what's going to take take us down a road, a path of where we won't be able to bounce back so easy, right? To a certain degree. And so what I mean is, you know, without, because anything of value, what really is a very difficult thing is the time and the work needed to get the results one is seeking, whatever that result, whatever that may be, for us to feel like we are getting somewhere within. So and that's really, I just see it. I understand. Like I said, the marketing of what what is so temporary. But when we are able to really get a hold of who or what we are able to offer ourselves from within, is one of the most powerful things in the world, man. I mean, and so for an example, to be in a room amongst people that where you know for a fact that they think different from you, you may be the total opposite, and you could be okay with that because you're sure of yourself. That's a powerful position to be in, right? When you can agree to disagree, and that's what I'm saying tonight. You know, is again just being connected with oneself wholeheartedly. You know, to be able to participate and partake in the world and still stand on your own square to be you. You know, so I'm just kind of through this conversation. I'm thinking of examples to where you could get some insight on what or how I formulate things to make sense for me, and not just make sense for me, but as I'm saying, to be in a space where you could be you. And see, the thing is, it's not just about being you, because I mean, if you're fake, if you're if you're weird, if you're a clown, if that's you, that's you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, everybody to each his own. You know what I'm saying? But to be comfortable in your own skin, and I want to say this though, right? And what kind of led to what was on my mind too. I saw a post. A young man played for Dallas. Y'all probably seen that. He's 24 years old, and he he unfortunately he unalived himself. Right? It's weird. You can't even say the word, but yeah, he unalived himself, and 24 years old, and he played for Dallas in the NFL. Y'all probably heard about that. And you know, you see so many people that seem to have it together, that reached a certain level of success, and you know, and then all of a sudden things turn for the worse. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm also saying is this. With that being said, you just never know what's silently going on with people. And I know for me, like when it comes to like my attitude, happiness, or feeling positive and stuff like that. I'm saying I gotta fight and earn that every single day. So, consciously, you know what I'm saying? Like I always mention, I'm checking myself. I'm changing my own perspective throughout the day, multiple times a day, and that's just how the mind works. Certain things. I was at the gym yesterday. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I did work out yesterday, by the way, too. Again, I work out so much, I be forgetting the days that I didn't take off. So anyway, with that being said, so I'm just giving you an example, right? I was in the gym yesterday, and I had a great workout, and so young man asked me, can he use the equipment I was using at that time. So I'm like, go ahead, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could use it. I really didn't want. I didn't want to be bothered. You feel what I'm saying? And then he asked me a second time, and you know what I mean. I ain't gonna front. I kind of act like I ain't hear him and all that. And so he repeated himself like twice. So I'm like, man. So I was just like, nah, go ahead, get that money, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me just having like an attitude, you feel me? I just, go ahead, get that money, bro. Just switched it into where, encourage him, yeah, get that money, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, work out, whatever. I really didn't want that though. Why I'm saying that because, I'm gonna be honest with you, low key, I was wild annoyed, you heard? And it's just allowing somebody to use the equipment. But even in those moments again, I'm controlling the situation in terms of just with the resistance of me not wanting to. I had to push back against my own self and just say, you know what, let this be an opportunity for somebody else to work out. And it's just as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So, I every day I'm a work in progress. So I just want to make mention of that too. But again, like and that's basically what I'm saying throughout this entire conversation. It's just keeping things in a proper perspective on the daily, and that's something that I talk about all the time. And that's basically the shadow work, and that's all we could do. You know what I'm saying? We could do that and more. You know, but also too, just to throw it out there, we living in a beautiful time, y'all. So don't lose sight of that either. You know what I'm saying? Just, and that's the thing too that, you know, I mean, not everybody see it that way, and that's cool. But for those who could take heed, who resonate with what I'm saying, you know, yeah, you know, life is beautiful. So I also want to put that, share that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much that could, dull your energy with, so much of what is, you know, depressing news or whatever the case may be, whatever that you, or even, you know, you know, what's going on in your own surroundings. You feel me? So that can really have a direct impact on you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so keep things in a proper perspective. But like I said earlier in this live, you know what I'm saying? To have something to cope with, to further increase your enthusiasm about life, your appreciation. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. That's a gift. That's a blessing. If you you hear it all the time throughout motivational, uh, you know, quotes and sayings on social media. But one thing for sure I know is that if you could rise up out that bed, and I'm sure that you could relate, and you able to stand 10 toes down and get to your day and all that, keep that in mind that that's first and foremost, you know what I'm saying, the greatest gift that we're able to embrace by way of us getting to be able to be fully autonomous in what we need and what we seek for ourselves and others. You feel me? For real. You know? So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's late night. I was up. I came from a baby shower. Shout out to my, my brother and my sister-in-law. You know what I'm saying? They got a new arrival on the way. So shout them out, shout it out. So I was up late night. I had when I went kind of crazy tonight. I had a bunch of snack foods. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. I work extremely hard, so that's not even a concern of me falling off track. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely not gonna fall off track. No, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so sharing some of the thoughts that not just today, but every day I'm in deep thought. And if you are that type of person, keep your mind right and get in the right direction. And because I was thinking, you know, also is that because the media and what you see with so much uh, tragic events that are going on, and don't lose sight on and what you're seeing, the obvious of life still moving forward, right? Regardless, we got to get up, we got to work, we got to produce, we have to make money, we have to, you just have to, you have to keep pushing. So I also pay close attention to that of what great opportunities, great examples of how life is blossoming every day in other people's lives. And um, again, me also appreciating the laughter and the good energy that's also very much around us, just as the negativity. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's not that hard either. It's really not that hard either. And it took me time to um, have this frame of mind. And like I said, I'm constantly working on it. And again, fitness is the most natural resource, and it starts within with the decision, and then taking action, and then offering yourself such a great experience. And it's what you're able to carry within. See, because when dealing with life, and one thing for sure is that, you know, when you're dealing with some of your toughest challenges, whatever that may be, a strong a strong way of coping is to know that, you know what, once your day is done, or again, fitness will remind you that you're the best you've ever. Fitness will remind you that you are stronger than what is trying to make you feel other than, you know what I'm saying, your 100% self to, you know what I mean. And but yeah, I've made it clear on that point though. But you know what I'm saying. So like, and it's every day that staying aligned with investing in your enjoyment and just being centered within, you know, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Being centered straight like that, man. But I wanted to, you know, come through and check in. I'm gonna get to this. My schedule will start to change up a bit back to where I'm able to, you know, do what I haven't been able to do lately with getting these workout videos. And well, I'm gonna go live a little bit. I did enjoy that too. I wanted to say the last time I went live, because I ain't do that in a minute. I enjoyed that a lot. So, you know, I wanted to definitely want to get back to that. I wanted to go live today actually, but I took a long nap because it's been a long week. I did a lot of working out, and I'm only you know, able to work out at night. I mean, it's getting dark now. Summer's over. That's a wrap. So of course it automatically changes with the schedule in that sense. Just the daylight alone, the daylight, just the daylight alone. You know, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. So we gonna get back. I'm always. It's not nothing to get back to. It's just a matter of, you know, making it happen. You know what I'm saying? For sure. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I always like to just, you know, come forth on the live and just have a few great words and stuff like that. Exchange some good energy. You know, it was very much needed. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, when I come forth, when I show up, you know, like I said, I express and speak what's on my mind at the moment, you know, and as we, you know, have the dialogue and other things come to mind within what's already the subject at hand, you know what I'm saying? I add on to that as well. You know, we're not far from the new year. If you haven't started your workout yet, you know, get to it. You know, the time is now. By the time the new year's rolling, you'll already be ahead of the game. You know, so I encourage you to do that. You know, feeling great. I could feel better. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot on my plate, and like any of us, that's just life. You know, you have what it takes. I have what it takes. We want to be surrounded with individuals that's gonna, you know, encourage you. You know what I'm saying? To push forward, to be your best. You know, so value those kind words, even if it's just a kind word from someone else. You know, um, deposit that into your, you know, to that, to the healthy, to the healthy bank of your spirit, if you will. You know, so many ways that can help us, you know, stay remained within, you know, that healthier energy, that higher energy, if you will. You know, so it's very important. You know what I'm saying? So a night like this, late night, many people probably sleep. But if you catching this right now, you know what I'm saying? It may add on to you just already being in a great space. And if you are, you know, not at such a, if you at a, you know, a low frequency, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna remind you that, you know, get back into that higher space within. You know what I'm saying? Um, Life is beautiful. I'm gonna say that again as well. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you too. I do. Uh, I hate not being able to record as much as I want to. But let me tell you something. One thing for sure, and that's why I need to show up, even if it's just live. And we're gonna get back to the cooking. I'm here. I'm around. We're gonna get to it. We listen. You know, we're gonna get to it. Believe that. But I wanted to make that known too. You know what I'm saying? Just, of course. So that's always on the forefront of my mind, and I let you know that by me actually showing up, and so that's what it is. I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. I know it's gonna rain tomorrow, but I'm very much looking forward to working out tomorrow. I'm gonna see how the weather is. I can get up early in the morning. I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna take it a day at a time. I saw the weather. It said it's gonna rain. Another day of raining. Uh, we'll see though. But I definitely got plans to, you know, get to this working out, and that's about it tonight. Again, so I wanted to just come forth with that energy in which, again, stay the course, get started if you haven't already. I had a conversation with a gentleman, and he mentioned the difficulty in getting started, or you know, a lot of his time is involved with work, and so he was mentioning that when it was you know him being at home with the family, if he's not at work, it's he feels of course the need to invest the rest of that time to the family. And I was just sharing with him that there's ways that we can also include the family with our working out. So if you're having a difficult time finding the time to work out, you can always put an hour to the side. And if you have children, depending on their age, um, there's different approaches to how you could incorporate a workout to where you could get the ball rolling, get the journey started. You know what I'm saying? So you could, like I said, if you are a person that has a family that relies on your time as well, have them a part of that, especially the kids, especially the kids. So, and it could be done. I do it all the time. It could be fun. If you have, for example, if you have a child, kids are very active, so they're gonna love the fact that you're active. So if you're doing push-ups at home, you know, let your child, get on your back, right? So now you're not just doing push-ups, you're doing weighted push-ups, with your child, so it's different ways. You can get them a jump rope, you can get a jump rope, and for your child, you could have a little challenge. How many skips can you do? You can go back and forth like that. So it's different ways that, and I'm just giving you ideas. If you either have excuses, or you truly feel that is too difficult to incorporate working out in your schedule, and we all got an hour, we all got a half hour, and I also shown that on certain videos to where I've done a certain amount of sets within that time frame of a half hour, and there you go, right? Because we could spend a half hour to an hour scrolling on our phones and be home with our family. So if we, reassess how we, divvy out our time, you know what I'm saying, you could definitely make time for your well-being with a healthier lifestyle, and with this fitness, you know what I'm saying? So and another great thing too, I want to also mention, after I get a good workout in, it's just a very great way, of that productive energy. It's like, for me, after I work out, I want to read. I want to, you know, it's like, what's next? You know, it's like, what's next? And that's another thing that it does for me. It it just keep that light on the inside. You know, it keeps that fire burning. You know, you gotta feed the fire. You know, you gotta feed the appetite. You know, you got or you not just you gotta stay. You know, it's good to be hungry. You know, it's good to be hungry at all times, even reaching, certain levels. You know, that hunger for to do more. You know, you wonder because, and what I mean is, you see a lot of successful people, even in uh, the entertainment industry, and the beautiful thing about that, or what really is impressive to me, is that people are just continuously going. You know, once something is completed, they're, you know, pursuing the next endeavor. You know, and it's, it's very impressive the amount of desire that so many people um, demonstrate through the work. You know, it's just a beautiful thing. You know, the amount of drive that is that can be just increased each and every day. You know, it definitely requires, again, you know, throwing gasoline on that fire within. You know, yeah, that type of time. And that's how I feel about the working out. I never get tired. I just, and that I had made a post actually, and I'm like, yo, I think about fitness so much, right? I think about fitness so much. I not just think about it, but I do it so much. I'm like, is this unhealthy? You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's not. And when I say when I, it's more like a joke when I say is that unhealthy, right? Yeah. But it's not. It's not. It only grows. You know, every workout. I could work out right now as we speak, and I'm already thinking about the workout for the next day, for the next month, for the 2 week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say this too. Speaking of the working out, right? Um, a lot of you know already that I had surgery with my arm, so I have there are many days that I feel like I'm going backwards, meaning due to the nerve damage in my arm, right? A lot of many a days where I'll get less reps than certain days, for example. And no matter what in regard to me feeling like I went a few steps back per se, not that I'm slacking, but due to, you know, me being, having this nerve damage and being able to do what I do in the moment and not necessarily feel like I'm getting everything that I want to offer myself. However, I it only increases, and I know for a fact that I'm getting better. And if I wasn't doing it at all, there will be no progress. There will be no improvement, So stay the course, and that's what it also goes back to, staying the course. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I like that. I like to share that too. You know what I'm saying? Stay the course, man. For real. Every rep, every set, every exercise, and don't slack. And you know, so I'm feeling great. Again, that this is a way of life, and so just like I need food to live, I need fitness to live. You know what I'm saying? Like really, really. Not everybody feels like that. Everybody got a different level of appreciation, a different level of, or why they, a different reason for doing what they do, you know. But this is this fitness was the greatest form of me being connected to oneself and to solely rely on me making a difference within. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? So, like I could talk about it all day. I could work out multiple times a day. The other day I worked out 3 times. I did like a 7 mile jog, and like my jogs be like an obstacle course. I did a 7 mile jog. Then I did a live. That was the live that I did. I told y'all, I mentioned on that live. So I did that 7 mile jog. Then I did that live for like 40 minutes or so. Did a bunch of push-ups on my knuckles, the Mike Tyson push-ups I did. Um, yeah, so, and then later on that evening I went to the gym and worked out again. It's a beautiful feeling. Again, somebody as such as myself in my mid 40s, and possessing the level of energy to work out 3 times in a day, then get up 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work and still have a great amount of energy. Again, so without partaking in an energy drink, coffee, and I like coffee, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the point I'm making is that this level of being in shape is priceless. You know what I'm saying? It's priceless. It's always, and this is every day, feeling like that. You know, every day I'm feeling like that. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. You know, and I love expressing that. And you know what I'm saying? I want you to, you know, I want people to be able to resonate with that. Not through the words, but through the action. You know what I'm saying? And that's another beautiful thing about life, whatever that may be for a person in terms of something that they love, something that they're born to live for, right? Is to constantly have that increase of desire, you know? It's a wonderful, it's just a wonderful way of purpose each and every day. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how much, like I said, no matter how much those days where I feel that I took a few, uh, I went a few steps back due to less reps, due to having to fight through not getting the best experience per se, right? Even within the great amount of love that I have, but to know for a fact that by way of me taking action, I'm only further adding on to becoming better. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, straight like that. You know, so if you are a beginner, I'm just sharing that with you. If you, I'm just, you know, whatever it is, it don't have to be fitness, but the repetition of what it is that we do, it will definitely bring about better results, closer to succeeding, closer to meeting that goal. You know, the repetition of life, reps and sets aren't just in the park. Reps and sets are rereading the chapter in that textbook. You know, reps and sets are, you know, speaking to yourself over and over about positive things, great things, you know. So I just also like to mention that it's just not limited to fitness, but it is at the top of the list of, you know, again, remaining in beyond in the space within to where we are able to reconnect with oneself, right? Even though we collectively come together, but fitness is very personal. You know what I'm saying? It's a very personal choice. It's one of the greatest commitments to oneself. You know, so if you're getting up early in the morning, if you're able to, and you're starting your day working out, you are doing a tremendous benefit for yourself. Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? I see overweight people out there jogging, all sorts of shapes, sizes, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, yo, I'm giving you your props. You know what I'm saying? So instead of, having a judgmental in a negative sense, I silently encourage people too. And even though I'm not necessarily speaking directly to an individual, you know what I'm saying? I could cheer, I could root you on from afar, even if I don't want somebody in the gym asking me to work in on the same equipment that I'm using, you know what I'm saying? But I could definitely or I definitely do, you know, encourage you silently, you know what I mean? Keep going, keep doing your thing, you know what I'm saying? So again, just don't lose sight, of the beauty of life, you know what I'm saying? And we always gonna, you know, keep that on a on the forefront, you know what I'm saying? If I can help it, you know. And also I want to say this too: appreciate your loved ones, the ones that that truly got your best interests at heart. Value them. Just I want to say that too. Don't take life for granted. And that's why I also decided to show up tonight and just share that too. Just don't take life for granted. You know, and we all know what it is that we need to apply that into what's going on in our individual lives. Just don't take it for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. You know what I mean? Word. Be grateful. I'm not telling, and I ain't trying to convince nobody, as I say, and I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. But we could exchange ideas. We could share, some uplifting words. We could encourage one another. You know what I'm saying? And I don't always feel like that. You know what I'm saying? But I know it helps me when I come across positive energy and those that help me a great deal. You know what I'm saying? With the very things I'm saying tonight. You see what I'm saying? So, it's a collective. It's a collective effort with all of our participation. Whether negative or positive. You know what I'm saying? That's just the yin and yang of life. You got negative that attracts. You got positive that attracts each other. You got miserable. You got happy. You got all of that. You know what I'm saying? But one thing for sure is that being in a great space, being in a certain you got to earn it like anything else in life. It got to be earned. It got to be well earned. Just like your physique, the working out, education, it's got to be well earned. It's the work, the working on the shadow work, as I always say. You know that. So that's at least for me is every day is applied. You know what I'm saying? Even if I gotta, catch myself before you know, I allow myself to go in a direction I really don't want to go into, you know, in terms of my behavior, you know, straight like that, my behavior, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and it's just being conscious each and every day, you know, that accountability, you know what I'm saying? And it's worth it. It's worth it, you know. So, and everything's gonna happen at the time and it's supposed to happen. Of course, with the work put forth, you know, nothing is gonna take fruition without the action, without the work, you know. That's just how we go. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we go. But yeah, so get started now in terms of that working out. We in November. You got 2 months before that new year roll in, so get to it. You know, let's go, let's get it, let's but of course, you know what I'm saying? But of course, you know, I already feel that cold air too, and that's the thing too. Like the thing about that these colder months is that if you serious about working out, if you are somebody who work out outdoors, you're gonna have to get it. Because see, one thing, and I want to say this is that one thing when you out there getting that workout in that cold, and you talking about 30 and 30 below, ain't no time to be sitting scrolling on the phone and none of that. You got to get to it, especially if you want to get the body temperature at a, you know what I'm saying, at a warm level. Like you ain't no. That's the thing about this time of the season. It's separate for those who work out outside. It's going to separate those who was really about that outdoor workout to those who gonna fall back and avoid this time of the year. And this time of the year, them parks, a lot of parks, at least in those workout areas, be pretty empty. Pretty empty. And it's all good. Get it how you get it. If you go indoors, but one thing for sure, and going back to what I was saying about that desire, you know, I relish in this cold weather. I get a thrill, especially when you doing, I'm talking about so many reps and sets outside, and it just, I get a thrill because I relish in it, like, and what, you know, so many people are gonna avoid, I run to it. You know what I mean? I've said that many times. I run to that park in that cold weather. You heard? Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, that desire. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you, it's like I could easily go to the gym, and it's it's something about that cold weather that it antagonizes me to, you know, go out there and get to that. You know, I be out there a lot of times for the dolo because ain't nobody out there. You know, so it's very that's where that warrior spirit, you know, that warrior vibe, the feeling, it's like you know, that hunting energy, like you gotta get done it, you know, all of that in a bunch, you know. So, but yeah, get started now. You know, make sure by time January, before you know it, we'll be in March, yo. I ain't rushing the time, but before you know it, it'll be March, then it'll be April. You heard? So let's get to it now. So by the time that spring roll around, come back around, you know, you be ready, you be fit, you be in shape, you be a different person. You know what I'm saying? That's if you haven't, if you allowed the summer pass without you doing what you supposed to be doing. Now is the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But I just wanted to, you know what I mean, have that dialogue that's very necessary. Very, very necessary. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see what's going on. Like I said, the politics of the world. I'm not here to go down a whole long list of what's going on and all that, you heard? But yeah. You know, from natural disasters to man the man-made, manipulated, created circumstances of the world. You know, we all know what's going on. We all see. You know, but so many of us that still living life to the fullest, and we definitely have that choice and option for a lot of us. And if you're able to do so, you know, stay on the path, stay on the course of what can and will be achieved by the necessary action taken each and every single day. So I'm just showing up to also be that reminder to you as well as myself, because when I cut off this camera, when I cut off this live, just like so many of you, life be life, and as they say, you know, and then there will be a point where, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, but when I share such dialogue in this positive, you know, it's also a reminder to me that I further have to implement it for me as well. So yeah, on that type of time, yeah. But we're gonna get to this work. We're gonna get to this workout. I got more content on the way, believe me, because the content is not, it's within. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to this working out, I could do that all day, every day. You know? Yeah, believe that. All day, every day. Also, what I want to share too, what I've been doing lately though, speaking about working out, what I've been doing lately is I've been getting more working in a short amount of time. I've mentioned that in previous videos, previous recent videos, that I've been doing more work in a short amount of time. and not just more work in a short amount of time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is that, because one thing for sure is that I definitely, when I work out, I have, it's no slacking. So, but I, instead of me spending that average 2 hours, and I still enjoyed that, those very long workouts. I have been shortening the time frame, and the reason for that also, that has helped me been able to work out almost 7 days a week. So instead of me doing like two, because I get started and I have to tell myself, yo, it's time to go, you know. But I feel I've been feeling so more energized at work. Just, it's sort of like a healthier balance of getting a great amount of work in, but shortening the time, and then being able to just have more than plenty each and every day. You know, yeah, because I'm still human. You know, and like, for example, today I took a long nap, and it catches up with me in that, and you know, it does catch up with me, and then of course once I, you know, get that rest, right? That rest is important, and then I'm just ready to go, like, again and 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 again. You are, so it's a beautiful feeling. You know, that's why I said, is it unhealthy? Because I you know, worked out so much that consumes my within that moment. It's like, feel like I could go on forever. I'm gonna say so. I ain't gonna say it tonight though. I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I'm gonna say something, right? Check it out, right? I'm gonna say something. Yo, it's like, life is so beautiful. It's like, damn. It's still that reality that we all got that day. You feel me? You understand? Like, we all got that day where physically. But I'm saying that to say this is not. It's reality. It's life. It's, you know, it's not a, you know, it's not a negative thing. But what I'm saying is that, again, just don't take it for granted. Don't take life for granted. Enjoy. You know, word up. Enjoy as best as you can. Just don't take it for granted. And see, the thing is too, right? Because I'm not gonna be. I want to make mention of this though too, right? It's like, every day my thinking changes, when it's a beautiful thing. Um, and one thing for sure, because I be like thinking to myself like, yo, it's the way I think now that I feel like I could have started much earlier in my life, right? And it's not a regret. It's not like a shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's just I appreciate. So, all right, basically what I'm saying is this though, right? I appreciate. You know what? For what took me much longer than it may have took others, I appreciate now, at least receiving it later on at this point in my life than to not ever have grown to such a point in my life. And what I mean is, and really understand or try to understand what I'm explaining right now is that better late than never, that saying, better late than never. And we don't want things to happen too late. All right, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that more and more my thinking changes every day for the better. And I'm gonna be honest, it's like, yo, and I was thinking to myself also today, I'm like, yo, the only thing that's in terms of age, it's like my age, I feel like, yo, because it took like longer for me to like mature and to think a certain way and to, you know, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of like that kept me younger. I don't know if you understand that. It's like it kind of kept me younger, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but and what I mean younger in spirit, be, being that it's like because maybe some people feel burnt out much early in life. If you've done so much, right now life is abundant. Life is it's it's a lot to explore, right? We don't even have one lifetime to explore every single thing. However, there are, I would say, and it's a fact, but there are people, a lot of people that feel like I've done it all already, you know, sort of. So for me, it's more like it took me so much longer in certain, yo, so that also really increases my desire for what it is that I have yet to experience, if that makes sense, you know. And so along with the working out, you know, and besides my age, you know, I feel young in spirit, you know, and then of course I would say that that contributes to the physical, you know. Yeah, but I'm just sharing that too. And the reason why I'm sharing that, and you know what, I'm not gonna. Yo. I'm gonna tell you something too, right? If you listening, yo, it's so much to a certain degree with certain things that I would like to share to where you would see why like my mind is geared in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things, but I'm you know I'm gonna tell you this, right? I commend people who get on this internet and share like certain like personal I'm gonna be honest, man. That take a level of courage. The things that you hear people share on this internet about their stories and the place that they arrived to and things that they overcame and or what and just so I ain't with all that. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain things that maybe I should start a Patreon or something, and you know what I'm saying. But yeah. But one thing for sure, I'm gonna tell you this though, and this is why I say don't take it for granted. Is that when we talking about life and there's a lot of competition. Life is very competitive. There's a lot of comparing. So many people deal with, and that's why before I get off, before I close out, we're gonna talk just for a little bit. But that's why I always, um, when I'm talking about keeping things in a proper perspective and things of that nature, life is very competitive, um, very demanding. That's without a doubt, right? Challenging and things of that nature. However, us as human beings, there's a lot of comparing, right? It's a lot of what seems to be what we don't have and what others have. It's a lot of um, comparing that could lead one to go down the wrong road. And what I mean is, like, I'm gonna keep it on the eye, right? I'm gonna keep it on the eye. So exactly what I'm talking about in terms of me appreciating my mindset now. One thing I'm glad that at this point I do have a certain thinking. I've really grasped a certain level. I've really grasped the wisdom that I obtained, even if I didn't necessarily grasp it at the time of receiving it. You feel what I'm saying? So better late than never, but it's like I know for sure I could be so much worse off. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say it's to be from this point to increase that growth, you know? on that type of time to increase that growth. You know, um, so I'm grateful for me, and I don't say that in a vanity way. I'm saying that because I fought with me. You know what I mean? A tug of war with me to help myself as long as it took to arrive at this point. And I always say that if you been in tune with my conversation and how I deliver or what I say often is like I said, arriving at a certain point, I earned my keeps. You know, so it go back to the shadow work, man. That's really what I'm saying. I'm just giving certain examples, and things of that nature. And it's a beautiful thing. But I'm definitely at competition with myself, and that's what I'm saying too. You know, I'm at competition with myself. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're gonna keep our foot on the pedal. We're gonna keep our foot on the accelerator. Keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Keep striving. You know, keep working. You know, keep seeking. Keep exploring. You know, don't lose sight that there's still a lot of official human beings out here, man. A lot of people with great contributions to the world. Don't lose sight of that. Don't get sidetracked from that. You know, straight up. You know, I don't even take. I don't take. You know, I try not to take small conversations for granted. You know, like I said, just don't take life for granted, man. And that's what's summing up everything that's being spoken about tonight. Don't take life for granted. Appreciate yourself. I could easily appreciate your sanity, man. Appreciate your sanity. Yo, I'm about to get up out of here, you heard? Yo, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. I saw y'all hitting that like button. Yo, salute to the chat, man. You know, straight like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so don't take life for granted. That's everything that I'm saying tonight. And life is beautiful. Don't lose sight of that. Talking to me too, you heard? It ain't no joke out here. It's definitely for real. But it's also very beautiful. Hey yo, speaking of beautiful, right? Let me tell you something real quick. You know what I seen the other day? Now I live in New York, Long Island. I live at the end of the island, more closer to the city and all that, you heard? So I'm not further out in Long Island all the way. Like, the further you go out in Long Island, the more
forms of wildlife you see, like when you go further out in Long Island, like you see the deers, you see the turkeys, and uh, you know, I've seen lizards out there, you know, because I work out further in Long Island. So I'm saying that to say this. I'm just sharing something with you real quick. So the other day, I was in East Islip and I saw an eagle. Word, I saw a bald eagle. So unexpected, so unexpected. I mean, beautiful bird, you know, and what a sight to see. Yeah, I saw an American bald eagle with the white head. I saw the talons. I mean, it was very close to my vehicle. It was. I don't have no idea. Apparently, um, from what I know now, they have been seen in the area, so it's not like so uncommon, right? To a degree, but yeah, I saw American bald eagle. Yo, don't take life for granted, you heard? I'm gonna catch you on the next go around. We're gonna get to it. More on the way, you heard? Like I said, that's what it was about. Appreciate. Life is beautiful. Peace.